What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to more Doki Doki Blue Skies. I don't know if this is going to be the bad ending scenario yet or not. Well, I mean, I know it's a scenario, but I don't know if this is when it happens. So we're just gonna keep going as we have been and see what changes. It's been about 2 weeks since Sayori's latest nightmare. I wish I could say that things were steadily improving, but not much has changed. The only good news is that she's been prescribed antidepressants, so I'm really hoping that they make a positive difference. On the other hand, there have been a few days where Sayori's depressive moods become a little more apparent in school. She's also missed a few days, and the two things combined have caused the other club members to become a little suspicious. They expressed their concern, but Sayori's mental walls remained firm. I felt bad about how in the dark the other girls were, but it isn't my position to say what's going on. Although I wish I could, because I don't feel like I'm making any progress with Sayori, and not having anyone to talk to about it is becoming harder and harder. Hopefully, Sayori will be comfortable telling the girls in her own time. I've also had other things to worry about. Given it's now February, I've had to pay a little more attention to school matters, namely the end of the semester next month. And Sakurai has also been talking to students about their future plans. I'm scared to think that next year is my final school year. He wants to see me after the lesson ends, so for what feels like the first time in forever, I started to think about what I want to do after I leave school. As the bell rings, he calls me over. You have the same look that I had on my face when my homeroom teacher wanted to talk to me about my post-school plans. I appreciate his use of humor in the situation. He's always been efficient at helping me feel at ease, especially in situations where I feel out of my depth. If you don't know what you want to do, I wouldn't worry about it too much. After all, you're just a second year, so you have another year to figure it all out. Having said that, do you have any idea at all what you want to do? Because I have to say, I figured out what my college plans were by the time I was 5. To be honest with you, sir, I haven't really given it much thought at all. Gas! The past 5 months have been they haven't really given me much time to think about it. Well, let's try this from another angle. Does higher education interest you at all? Going to universities? Or would you perhaps be more inclined towards finding a job as soon as you leave school? You know, McDonald's, they hire almost anyone. I paused for a moment to think, trying to recollect what my parents used to tell me when we had this kind of conversation. University sounds good, although I'm not sure what I'd study. He nods approvingly. You'll definitely find it easier to land a job if you have a degree under your belt. That's good to know, then. All I had to do is pick a subject, I guess? I know it can be a little daunting, especially when you aren't sure. My advice would be to go with a subject you enjoy and do well in. Far from me to be biased, but you are a rather talented historian. I chuckled. What can you do with a history degree, though? The skills you get from a history degree can transfer to a lot of other fields. A lot of historians that I knew went into journalism, academia, teaching, or even the law. Obviously, I'm not biased in any way, but history is the best subject to study. My science teachers say otherwise, sir. He grumbles to himself. Those haughty scientists, if they could just pry themselves away from their Bunsen burners and glass vials for 5 minutes. Anyway, it's good that you've at least got a vague idea of what you want to do. There's no rush or anything. Just take some time to think about what you'd like to study at university. We can always have another discussion later. Will do, sir. Thank you. With the conversation over, I made my way to the club room for lunch. Hey guys. Natsuki gives me a curt nod while Sayori gives me a weak smile. The door opens once more and Yuri walks in. Sayori's already weak smile wavers even further. She doesn't dislike her by any means, but it's clear that the jealousy is still an issue. I sigh inwardly. I have no clue on how to solve that issue, given I don't think Sayori is willing to disclose her depression with Yuri. As I pull out my food, I notice that Monica has barely greeted me. Her face is glued to her laptop with a terse look on her face. Everything alright, Monica? She finally drags her eyes up the screen and looks at me. It seems like she's only just realized I'm talking to her.
Yeah, sorry. Had to sort out some important emails. How are you?
It's easy to spot from a mile off that her smile is forced. I decide not to push it. Not bad, not bad. Sakurai was just talking to me about what my plans are after high school.
I think it's common practice for all the teachers to ask their students, given we're second years and the end of the semester isn't so far off. Ha! Bet that was fun. We don't have to bother with that stuff just yet.
Lucky. I still don't really know what I want to do. I told him I wanted to go to university, but I can't really decide what I want to do. I'm starting to realize that I probably should have given this more thought.
That's a little irresponsible, Flam. Your future holds so much weight, and time flies by so quickly.
My face heats up a little from embarrassment. She's right, of course, but it seems like her judgment is coming out of nowhere. I look at Sayori, half expecting her to jump to my defense. She doesn't, though. Instead, she idly pokes at the spot at the table. The other girls look curiously at us. They can sense that something is up. I don't want to draw too much attention to Sayori, so I try to deflect their curiosity. How about you, Yuri? Any ideas?
I decided I want to study Japanese literature at university.
Fitting choice. Yuri smiles to herself.
I suppose it comes as a surprise to no one. I can imagine it would be both an exciting yet daunting experience.
University?
Yes. On the one hand, there's the opportunity to meet many like-minded people all with the same passion. Yet there's so much independence, especially if you opt for a university far from home. And with that independence comes a lot of responsibility, and I imagine a fair degree of uncertainty.
Who knows what life will be like for all of us when we've left when we've left school. My question hangs in the air as the conversation lapses into silence. Monica mutters something under her breath. How about you, Monica? I imagine you've got a lot of choice, given how you excel in pretty much every subject. She finally closes the laptop lid with a sigh.
My parents have been hounding me with the exact same question for months now. I'll probably take over their business.
There's a hint of what sounds like bitterness in her voice. Granted, I know very little about her life, well, at least anything beyond surface level, so it's a little baffling.
We'll have to wait and see.
An awkward silence descends upon the room. Clearly it isn't just me who detected Monica's slightly hostile tone. Luckily, Yuri breaks the silence.
Are you alright, Sayori? You've been rather quiet. Yeah, that's not like you at all.
Even Monica glances over at Sayori's direction.
Oh, I'm fine. Just kinda tired, that's all. Don't worry about me.
The other girls don't look convinced in the slightest, but they don't have much chance to press her as the lunch bell rings. I remember being in their position last semester, and boy, do I not envy them. As the end of the school day rolls around, I find myself wandering down the corridor, waiting for Sayori to finish. Along the way, I bump into Monica.
Hey, Flam.
She keeps her voice low and quickly looks around before speaking.
Is Sayori okay?
She'll be fine. Just dealing with some stuff, that's all. And just like that, it was that easy to lie to Monica. Is this what it's like to be like Sayori? To put on a front and pretend everything is okay?
She's been missing a lot of days of school this semester. And it really looks like something's bothering her. You don't seem as worried compared to when she was like this last semester.
That was when I knew less about her. She narrows her eyes at me. I guess what I said must have come across as pretty cryptic.
Okay. Well, let me know if we can help in any way, okay?
We?
The other club members. We're all friends after all, don't forget.
Oh, of course. I mentally smacked myself for asking such a stupid question. It's appreciated. I'll see what Sayori thinks.
Okay then. Well, I'll see you later.
I think Sayori is definitely more convincing than I am. She walks off, and after a couple of moments, Sayori comes out of her class. Okay, hold on a second here. Okay, so yeah, there's a little bit here. A couple months, Sayori comes out of her class.
Sorry I'm late.
It's okay, let's go. As we make our way home, Sayori is unnaturally quiet. I'm not a fan of the awkward tension. Monica seemed a bit snappy today, don't you think?
What?
You know, during lunch. Don't you remember? She kind of told me off for not having given my future much thought.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention. Yeah, I don't know what's up with her.
Alright. The conversation trails off once more. She's worried about you, you know. She asked about you just now. The girls can all tell there's something going on. Have you thought about telling them about your...
No.
I'm taken aback by the strong tone in her voice. It's also rare that she interrupts me. Why not?
Shouldn't you know this by now, Flam? It was hard enough telling you. If I tell 3 more people, that means 3 more people have to worry about me. It's not worth it.
But...
Please, can we just leave it at that? The past few days have been really hard, so I really don't want to go into it.
Yeah, okay. I tried to keep the bitter disappointment out of my voice. By this point, I was hoping that Sayori would be a little more receptive when it comes to talking about her depression. Yet, even 3 months after I first found out, her walls are still strong. I still don't know what I'm doing. Every suggestion feels like a wild shot in the dark.
Anyway, I have so much homework to be catching up on, so I'll see you tomorrow.
You can do it around mine if you want. I could help you.
No, it's okay. We'd only get distracted anyway.
Oh. Okay then. I move forward to give her a goodbye kiss, but she's already gone. Trying and failing to fight out the disappointment and sadness flooding through me, I make my way home. As I do, I can't help but wonder if dating Sayori was a good idea. As I'm trying to take my mind off today's events with some anime, my phone rings. It's Mom. Oh man, I haven't spoken to her in ages, so I'm preparing myself for a lecture.
Hello, stranger.
Hey, Mom.
I almost forgotten what your voice sounded like.
I wince. Yeah, I saw this coming a mile away. I'm sorry. I really am. I sigh. I should have called you sooner. It's just... there's been a lot going on. She chuckles lightly.
Ah, yes. I'm starting to see how having a girlfriend isn't easy, huh?
You could say that.
Flam?
Yeah? Her tone became very gentle very quickly. The change throws me off guard for a second.
What's wrong?
Huh? Nothing. I'm fine.
Come on, sweetheart. What's happened?
It's something that won't blow over by itself. Well, that was a barefaced lie. I'm really getting better at this, aren't I?
Was it an argument?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Well, you're not giving me much to work off, but in my experience, fights are normal in a relationship. Give it a couple of days, and I imagine you two will be back to your normal, cheerful selves. Sayori especially.
For Sayori especially. That comment rings in my head. Oh, if only she knew. My vision becomes a little blurry, and I hastily reach up to wipe away the tear that has suddenly rolled down my face. It takes all my mental fortitude not to sniffle. If Mom heard me crying, there's no way she'd let me hang up until she got to the bottom of it. Temporarily putting the phone on mute, I clear my throat and take a deep breath. Yeah, hopefully, first relationships are a little daunting. Anyway, Sakurai was talking to me earlier about my plans for after high school. Crazy to think that I'm almost at that stage in my life.
You don't stay young forever, I'm afraid. What did you tell him?
I wasn't sure, in all honesty. I said I'd probably go to university, but I wasn't sure what I'd wanted to study. I think he wanted me to go into history, but that's a given.
A good choice. Analytical, too. Would definitely help you find a job.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to pick too soon, though, especially as I haven't even finished my second year yet.
Of course, honey. But it never hurts to think about your future. What does Sayori want to do?
A lump forms in my throat as I remember that Sayori didn't once participate in that conversation. Even Natsuki, a first-year did. Oh, I don't know. We haven't really spoken about it.
You two are just like each other. Well, I'm sure you'll both figure it out together. Oh, and I've been meaning to tell you. We managed to finish dealing with this difficult client a little earlier than expected, so I'll be able to come home soon.
My heart races. Finally, some good news amongst all the doom and gloom that's been defining my life over the past few weeks. Really? It'd be great to see you again. I've missed you a lot.
I've missed you too. I've always felt guilty about not being there for you.
You don't have to worry about that, Mom. Work is work. Not much you can do about that.
I know. Motherly instincts, I suppose. Anyway, how...
The sound of a voice calling her name cuts through the call.
No. I was really hoping I'd get to talk to you for a little longer, but unfortunately, I've got to go. I'll see you soon, okay? Oh, and by the way, don't forget that it's Valentine's Day coming up, so I want to hear about how you treated Sayori like a princess, okay? I love you, Flam. Bye.
Love you too, Mom. See you soon. And with a click, I'm left alone once more. At least I feel better after talking to Mom. It's reassuring to know that even though she's miles and miles away, she's still able to cheer me up. Although I have a new worry, Valentine's Day. Never done anything for it before, so planning some kind of romantic activity is beyond me. I'll chew it over with the girls tomorrow. After Sakura explains the morning's tasks and settles down to mark some papers, I pull out my textbook, trying to muster up the motivation to do what he asked. With each passing day, the ugly reality of how depression can warp someone gets stronger and stronger. It's becoming harder and harder to cope with Sayori's behavior. I'm starting to think I should have gone with her to therapy. I'm mindlessly fiddling with my pen when I feel an elbow nudge into my ribs. What do you want? Amy stares at me, hurt. She clearly wasn't expecting that sort of response. I force a smile and attempt an apology, but she's already turned away. Sakura is also looking at me, so with a sigh I reluctantly turn back to my textbook, already wanting the day to be over. After the bell finally rings, I make my way over to the club room, determined not to repeat what just happened with Emmy. No shit, right? Especially with these girls? Yeah, you don't want them at ya. Time to put on a happy mask. I wonder who I learned that from. Morning, Yuri. Yuri's the classroom's only inhabitant. There's a new book in her hands. And at the sound of my voice, she places a bookmark in it and looks up.
Hello. It's nice to see you again. How have you been?
Yeah, pretty good. Can't believe it's already February. Feels like the year is really flying, don't you think? She nods. What's that you're reading there?
It's a rather old gothic ghost story that creates a gripping sense of dread and uncertainty.
Sounds cheery. What's it about?
Essentially, a young governess is hired to look after two young children, a boy and a girl, at a family's country house.
What is it with the horror stories and young children?
Eventually, she starts seeing two figures of a man and woman she doesn't recognize skulking around the house. What's strange is that they come and go at will, and their presence is never picked up on by the other inhabitants of the home. Worse still, her predecessor, along with another male employee, used to spend a lot of time with the children. Well, before their deaths. The current governess suspects that the children are actually aware of the supposedly supernatural figures.
I hear the clubroom door open, but I'm too engrossed in the story to pay it much attention.
A huge theme of the story is whether the figures are real or just a figment of the governess's imagination. Paranoia, uncertainty, insanity, and dread.
Ah, so the kind of story that really sticks in your head, huh? Can you lend me the book once you're done?
Of course. Oh, hello, Sayori. I didn't hear you come in.
I look around. Sure enough, there she is.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
An element of tension is immediately evident in the room. Yuri looks confused, as the cheeriness she's used to with Sayori is painfully absent. She looks questioningly at me, but I avert my eyes. The silence stretches on, becoming more awkward by the moment. I'm praying for the other two to walk in. After what feels like hours, my prayer is finally answered as Natsuki and Monica slide in. Now that there's 5 of us, the atmosphere grows noticeably less tense. Conversation flows between all of us. Well, except with Sayori. I guess this is to be expected. After my final lesson is over, I tentatively make my way to Sayori's classroom. I'm not looking forward to it, but we really have to confront the elephant in the room. Hey Sayori. Ready to walk home?
Yeah. Let's go.
The walk home is proving to be just as awkward as lunch. Eventually, I decide to bite the bullet. Sayori, please talk to me.
About what?
About whatever's bothering you. I know you're not okay. The others saw it too. I have a fairly shrewd suspicion as to what's causing her mood to be like this, but I want to see if she'll open up to me without me having to state it.
Nothing. I just had a bad couple of lessons, that's all.
Well, that was a naive thought. Almost dreading the response, I finally asked her what I've wanted to ask since lunch. It's Yuri, isn't it? She doesn't say anything, but carries on walking, deliberately not maintaining eye contact. I sigh. I was really hoping this wasn't the case. We've been over this, Sayori. She's just a friend. That's all. Again, no reply, but from the way a pained look flickers over her features, she's basically said all she needs to say. You know I'd never do anything to betray your trust, right? I reach out for her hands. I'm almost surprised that she lets me. Sayori, you are my girlfriend, not Yuri. And there's a good reason for that. And I know things haven't been going well recently, but it'll get better. Every couple has these moments, right?
Mm-hmm. I guess you're right. Sorry. I've just really not been in much of a mood to talk recently. I need some time to myself, so I'll see you later.
I get the feeling she wasn't even listening to anything I was saying. I pull her in for a kiss. Well, a desperate attempt to reassure myself that she'd still want to. She does kiss me back, but it doesn't feel the same. Honestly, it feels rather mechanical, and I get the impression she's just going through the motions. She's slipping away from me, and I don't know how much more of this I can stand. As I watch her disappear into her house, a new emotion starts to surface. Anger. I'm half tempted to charge in after her and demand she talks to me, but no. I'm painfully aware of what happened the last time we were in an emotional moment, and I flew off the handle. I force myself to try and think positively. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so perhaps if I take her out for a romantic day, it might help reignite the spark that's been dying out between us. Despite my best efforts, I know it probably won't work. Still, I have to try. I wake up, feeling bleary and drained. Man, I did not get a good night's sleep last night. Sleep just would not come to me, no matter how much I tossed and turned. My thoughts were relentless. My brain refused to switch off, no matter how tired I felt. I reach over and check my phone. The time surprises me. It's much later than I thought it would be. Why do I still feel so drained? Sitting up, I stretch and yawn, briefly pausing to contemplate what Sayori and I could do today. I guess we could just go to the park, or, I don't know, a nice restaurant in town. We could go for a wander. Doing my best to reassure myself that this is an idea worth entertaining, I head to the bathroom to start my morning routine. Morning, Sayori. Or is it afternoon?
Oh, Flam. What are you doing here?
I frown at her. What kind of greeting was that? The expression on her face doesn't change. What do you mean? I'm your boyfriend, and it's Valentine's Day today. I thought we should do something romantic together. Anything you want, I'm down for it. I smile at her, praying that this attempt to get through to her is somehow more successful than the previous attempts. She looks away, causing my heart to sink.
It's okay. I'm not really in the mood to do anything today.
Ah, great. That response again. I knew that this was going to be bad, guys. This is almost painful to sit through. I have to make a very conscious effort not to glare at her. Does she not realize how annoying she's being? Taking a quick deep breath, I force myself to try to rationalize her behavior. Oh, do you have a therapy session today?
No.
Oh, what's the next one? Out of curiosity. You haven't really mentioned it. She looks at the floor as she replies. I'm reminded of what conversations are like with Natsuki.
I've stopped going.
What? Why?
I told you.
No, you didn't.
I was hoping you'd pick up on it, Flam.
Pick up on what?
I never wanted to go. But I gave it a try for your sake. I even told you that I didn't like about how scary it was. And how it reminded me of the last time I tried it.
We both knew it wouldn't be easy. And I know it must be difficult, but you just have to keep at it.
I've heard all of this before. What you just said, and what you're probably going to say next. How I should just stick it out and it'll get better.
The anger that I've been doing my best to contain over the past few days is threatening to burst forth. Yeah, well, what I meant to say... You act like I meant to know how to handle something like depression.
It's not about what you say, Flam, but what you do. Or in your case, what you didn't do.
Spit it out, Sayori. I don't have time for these stupid riddles.
Why? Is Yuri coming to see you later?
Wow. Just wow, Sayori. That's low. So that's what this is about, huh? You feeling jealous over the fact I'm spending time with a friend who's feeling lonely?
I wish that was all this is about. I guess I was just wrong. About you.
About me?
I thought you cared.
It's like she's taking a knife and plunged it deep into my heart. For a moment, I don't even know what to say. Feelings of hurt, anger, surprise, and betrayal course through me, leaving me speechless. You think that I don't care? I've all but forgotten about what happened the last time I raised my voice at Sayori. Consequences be damned. How can you even say that? After all I've done for you.
You were all for forcing me to go to therapy, weren't you? What did you think? That if you sent me away alone, that I'd magically get better?
I know, it's really fucking difficult for you to believe, Sayori, but yes. I did think you could get better.
You never came with me. So tell me, Flam, how would you know anything about what therapy is like?
Jesus, Sayori, if you wanted me to come with you, that's all you had to say. She closes her eyes and shakes her head.
You still don't get it. You still don't get it. I hate asking people to do things for me. I would have thought you'd know that by now. I dropped you so many hints about how scary it was, hoping that you'd pick up on them and come with me, but...
Here's a genius idea. Why don't you stop dropping hints and just tell me what it is you want? Women! I'll come with you. I'll come with you to the sessions from now on. Jeez. She laughs, but there's no humor to be found.
It's a little too late for that.
Oh, so you're just going to give up. Just like that.
Don't you dare say it like that. Like it's that simple, Flam.
I'm not. You're just not giving it enough of a chance, that's all.
You have absolutely no idea what it's like to have depression.
And you have no idea what it's like to give so much to someone only for them to throw it right back in your face. I get it, Sayori. I'm this horrible, soulless monster that never once gave a damn about you. Thanks a lot.
I was so stupid to ever think that you can make a difference.
And I was Now it's stupid to think that you're the same happy, sweet girl I grew up knowing. And with my parting shot delivered, I turn around and slam the door. The door may have been loud, but the quiet sound of Sayori sobbing is twice as audible. I'm woken by the sound of knocking on my bedroom door. I roll my eyes. Sayori had better come to apologize because I'm in no mood at all to otherwise talk to her. Go away!
Not a very nice way to talk to your mother, don't you think?
Mom?
Good morning to you, too.
I hastily push the covers off and make my way to the door. With all the heartache going on with Sayori, Mom's return had been completely driven from my mind. I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean that. We share a hug, and I'd be lying if I said it didn't make me feel at least a little better. Well, I thought you were someone else.
Someone else? What do you mean?
Nothing. She doesn't look convinced. I'll be fine. Don't worry. I sniff the air. The familiar yet long-lost smell of my mom's cooking hits me. Are you making breakfast?
Yeah, I made your favorite. We've got a lot to catch up on, so what better way to do it than over some food?
I force a smile. I like the way you think. I do a few mouthfuls of Mom's cooking. I'm feeling a little better. But I haven't been able to get Sayori's words out of my head. I thought you cared. Cared. How could she have the nerve to say that? Should I really have gone with her to therapy? Maybe. Maybe it is me who's in the wrong. No. Don't think like that, Flam. Sayori was out of order.
You had a fight with Sayori.
She doesn't phrase it like a question. It's crazy how easily Mom can see through me. Huh? No, we didn't.
I know I haven't been around much over the past few months, but no matter where I am, I'll always be your mother, Flam, and I know you. What happened?
I'm tempted to keep this to myself. Is it really worth getting someone else involved in this? What if she takes Sayori's side? Well then, I'll teach you to swallow your pride then, won't it? Shut up. Hey, you're the one arguing with your own conscience. That was weird. Brittany, yeah, I broke the fourth wall onto myself right there. What the fuck?
Bottling things up never ends well, sweetheart. The problem gets worse and worse if you don't let anyone in. Sharing a problem can be very helpful, even when all the other person can do is just listen.
Mom's words made me think. Isn't this how I spoke to Sayori back in November, when I tried to get her to open up to me? And it was frustrating being kept in the dark. I sigh. Yeah, we had a fight.
About what?
As I opened my mouth to continue, I immediately realized that I can't give her any more information without disclosing that Sayori has depression. Mom is looking at me with a gentle look in her eyes. I guess I could tell her about Yuri. Sayori just felt jealous over the fact that I was spending time with another girl.
One of the girls from the literature club?
Yeah. I think I told you about how we went shopping together, right?
Yes, you did. Her name was... No, it wasn't Monica. Yuri?
Anyway. She's been feeling lonely, so I agreed to hang out with her, which made Sayori feel really jealous. I tried reassuring her that Yuri and I are just friends, but she doesn't see it like that. Mom leans back, a thoughtful look on her face. She's probably heard this sort of stuff 1,000 times before.
And what's what the fight was about? And that's what the fight was about?
Yeah. I can tell that she suspects there's more going on.
Is there anything else?
I thought you cared. I stand up and look for my coat.
Oh, are you going somewhere?
I think some fresh air would do me good.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's a good idea. You'll feel better when you come back.
And here I am, Like the very part of this park where Sayori and I first met, all those years ago. I run my hands through my hair, trying to get her words out of my head. Do I care for her? Of course I do. But I was scared. Ever since we started dating, I always had that fear in the back of my mind. The fear that I was getting into something that was beyond me. And as I began to see how pervasive her condition was, yes, it was scary. It was only then that I began to see the true nature of depression. But to say that I didn't care was over the top. Yes, it was. But from what I can gather, depression twists the way you see things, right? It changes your perspective on everything. So it's not exactly her fault. Hey, we can't just let her off the hook that easily. Why are you so defensive? Is it because you harbor a guilty conscience? Guilty conscience? Yes, you know, you could have done more for her. Why don't you go to therapy with her? Especially after she made it so obvious how difficult it was. Well, I thought she'd be fine by herself. Dude, you are arguing with yourself and losing. I didn't think she'd need me. Or is it because you were scared of what you'd find? You thought you could just send her there and expect everything to get better? You didn't want to face the possibility that the only thing you saw as a fix might not work? She didn't have to say that I didn't care, though. You're really hung up over that, aren't you? Yes, she said some stupid stuff, but so did you. What was the last thing you said to her? That she wasn't that lovely girl you grew up knowing. Not the best thing to say to someone suffering from depression, is it? She threw everything I ever did for her back in my face. I was pissed off. Is that so wrong? I briefly checked my phone. It's a text from Yuri. The phone goes right back into my pocket. I'm in no mood to read or reply to her message. I sigh. I can argue with my conscience all I want, but nothing will staunch the rising feeling of guilt. And now Sayori's given up on therapy. I was her last hope. She thought I could make a difference. I look around the park, wishing that things could be as easy as they were on the day we first met. I guess I didn't realize how much I was expected to support her. But I guess that's what arguments are for, right? You learn from them. Yeah, if she still wants to be with you, she will. Couples argue all the time, and Sayori isn't the type to bear a grudge. Might be wise to give her today to cool off, though. I mean, that worked the last time we had an argument. I just hope we can put this behind us. After freshening up and changing into my school clothes, I head downstairs to grab breakfast. Unsurprisingly, Mom is already up typing on her laptop. She looks up as I enter.
Morning, Flan. Sleep well?
About as well as I could, yeah. There's a silence as I chew my food.
Things will be fine between you two. I know it.
I nod along mechanically, not really paying attention. There's only one person I want to talk to today. Once I'm done eating, I stand up and head for the door.
See you later, Flan.
I give her a small nod as I leave. I should probably be more receptive to her efforts, but I can't really bring myself to at the moment. Sayori's in here. If I'm being honest, I expected it. I dig on my phone and decide to call her instead of texting. No answer. I paced around impatiently, tapping my foot. A few minutes pass and Sayori is still nowhere to be seen. I'm very tempted to skip school, but given Mom is home for the time being, that's definitely not a good idea. Reluctantly, I make the walk to school alone, desperately trying to ignore the feeling that I've really caused some irreversible damage. After what feels like an age, my final lesson is over. Eagerly, I rush out of the classroom. Flam? Oh, damn it. I was that close to being free. Reluctantly, I turn around. Hi, Monica.
Everything alright? You didn't join us for lunch.
It's fine. I just had to talk to Sakurai about something.
Okay.
Anyway, I gotta get going, so...
You're not coming to the club?
No. She narrows her eyes.
Going to see Sayori, huh?
What? How did you...
We're not idiots, Flam. We can tell something is going on between you two. She's been missing days off school, you barely spoke to us at lunch, and you're looking miserable.
It's nothing. I try to push past her, but she stands in front of me, holding firm.
It's not nothing, though, is it? It's not like you to be so secretive.
What's it to you?
You're a club member, Flam. Your well-being is a concern of mine.
Malika, that's nice and all, but I really don't have time for this right now. I've got to go. Hurt flashes through her eyes, but I don't care. Like hell am I waiting any longer to talk to Sayori. Sayori? She looks up. I'm definitely not detecting any warmth in her eyes.
What are you doing here?
I just wanted to apologize. Sayori doesn't say anything. Look, I was really stupid. I said some really dumb stuff that I definitely didn't mean. She looks away. The atmosphere in the room thickens tenfold. I was terrified that this would be how my apology would be received. And you were right. I really don't know what it's like to have depression, and it was naive of me to think that therapy would just magically fix everything. I look at the floor, almost expecting it to magically give me the courage to continue. I just hated being told that I didn't care. I've always felt like the whole situation was really overwhelming as it is, and I was trying my best, so... Anyway, it's not really an excuse. I shouldn't have said that you weren't who I thought you were. I'm sorry. I really am. The silence carries on for a few more moments, with each passing second and grows more and more uncomfortable.
You don't have to apologize.
No, Sayori. I do. I'm just really angry and...
You don't have to apologize because you were right. I'm not that happy, sweet girl you grew up loving at all. I guess I just fooled you into thinking that I was. I really tried to get better. But it's okay. This whole experience has taught me something. That this is how things will always be.
My heart sinks. She can't be saying this. No, Sayori. That's not true and you know it. Things can change.
Can they change, Flam? You were the only person who ever made me believe that. When you held me in your arms and told me that things would be okay, that was when I believed it, if only for a second. I knew that getting my hopes up would be a stupid idea. I should have listened to my head, but my heart convinced me to listen to you.
I desperately reach out to grab her hands. We can still do this, though. Couples argue all the time, Sayori. It's how we learn. She tenderly rubs my hands before slowly slipping her hands free.
I don't think we should be together anymore, Flam.
You don't mean that.
I do.
There are tears in her eyes, but she holds firm.
I can't carry on like this. And I don't want to be a burden on you any longer. It's hard enough when I'm alone, but when I'm with you, there's just so much added responsibility and stress.
What are you saying, Sayori? Please don't break up with me. We can get through this. I know we can.
We can't, Flam. I don't want to try anymore. Ask yourself, have you been happy with me? And please, be honest. Because I haven't been happy myself.
I open my mouth immediately to say that I have, but pause to stop. We've had our happy moments together, sure, but the past few weeks have been anything but. Snapping at Emmy and Monica, refusing to talk to Mom.
You don't have to say anything. I can see it on your face. Depression isn't going to just leave me alone if we stay together. And neither of us know how to handle it. Neither of us have been happy, and it would just be unfair to both of us.
Before I can even think of some kind of weak defense, she presses on.
And I'll be honest, what you said on Valentine's Day, it really, really hurt, Flam. I'm so sorry that I wasn't really as happy as you believed I was. And the way you mocked me for giving up, I was doing my best. I really was.
It's only now I'm starting to truly realize just how badly I fucked up. The horrible reality of becoming mercilessly clear. I want to scream at myself for being such an idiot, but the damage has already been done. There's only one last thing to say. A final, last-ditch ace in my sleeve. I love you, Sayori. My own tears have started to flow in full force. Within seconds, my cheeks are drenched and my vision is blurry. Sayori whispers as she replies,
Do you really, Flam?
Yes. Do you love me?
I don't know. I want to say yes. And I think part of me does.
She pauses to sniffle.
I always imagined that hearing you say you love me would have made me so happy. I dreamed that we'd say to each other under the light of the moon or something.
She makes a sound that's a cross between a laugh and a sob.
Maybe in another life, if things were different.
A regretful smile forms on my face. So this is how it really ends. A teary nod is my reply. There's so much more that I want to say. I want to kiss her one last time, or hug her one last time, or even interlock her fingers with mine. More than anything, I want to hold her close to me, run my fingers through her hair, and tell her that everything will be alright. As much as it hurts to accept, no, I'll never get that chance again, and it's all my fault. We don't have to do this, Sayori. Please. She walks towards me until our faces are inches apart. At this distance, I can see every teardrop clinging to her eyelashes. My eyes are begging her not to do this. Placing her hands on my shoulders, she looks right into my eyes, dropping her voice to a whisper.
You and I both know that I do, Flam.
She releases me and gently nudges me towards the door. Every inch in me is screaming at me not to comply, but she really leaves me no choice. As I shut the door, painfully aware of how things will never be the same between Sayori and I berate myself on how I managed to break not just one, but two hearts just now. That hurt. Days pass by. The week passed by agonizingly slowly. I haven't seen Sayori since we broke up. She hasn't been in school either. The other girls have asked me about her, especially Monica, but I've brushed them off. Right now, I couldn't care less about them if I tried. Her words keep resonating in my head. This is how things will always be. Maybe in our life, if things were different. Every time I remember the look of pain on her face as she spoke those words, I feel my heart break over and over again. The door opens and Mom comes in, wearing a sad, sympathetic look on her face. I didn't even need to tell her that Sayori and I had broken up. She could tell straight away when I came back home.
I made tempura for you. It's your favorite.
I'm not hungry. She gently ruffles my hair and thumbs away one of my tears.
I know it's hard, Flam. Breakups are never easy. Sayori means the world to you, and I know you still love her. And that's why it hurts so much. But unfortunately, breakups are just a part of life. You might not be able to see it right now, but you'll feel better eventually.
I nod along mechanically. I know.
Flam? Look, I know there's something else going on that you haven't told me. You can tell me, no matter what, okay? I'm your mother.
Sayori has depression. There was silence for a moment. She told me back in November, and I basically forced her to go to therapy. Never once went with her and made her feel jealous over Yuri. My words come out in a rush. It was hard to stop once I'd started confessing.
Sayori is depressed?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I had absolutely no idea. Poor girl. I never would have suspected it. Sayori of all people.
Just goes to show how good she was at hiding it.
Why didn't you
I don't know why. I guess I didn't realize how serious it was, so I didn't think you would have needed to know. How stupid I was. My voice breaks as the tears return.
Oh, Flam.
Please don't remind me of how stupid I was. Believe me, I know. I remind myself every day.
I'm not going to do that. Don't worry.
I don't even know if Sayori wants to be friends anymore. I think that's the worst part. Losing her as a girlfriend is bad enough, but losing her as a friend, and losing her entirely. Do people remain friends after a breakup? Sometimes. I look over to Mom desperately.
Some do, and some don't. There's not really an objective answer to that, I'm afraid.
I just wish I could talk to her. Not being able to see her is killing me.
Well, perhaps I could talk to her, if you'd like. After all, I've known her since she was a child. She's almost like a daughter to me.
I sit up as hope blossoms in my chest.
It'd be wrong of me to try and change her mind, though.
I slump back, the newfangled hope dashed.
But I can see what she says about staying friends with you. You've had a few days apart, so she's had some time to think it over.
It's something, I guess. Okay. She should be awake. It's past noon. Mom nods and makes for the door. I wish it was me going to see Sayori, but I don't think it would be a good idea to see her so soon. As difficult as it is, I probably should let her come to me. After all, I've caused enough damage as it is. I try to keep myself occupied while I wait for Mom to get back, but nothing is doing the trick. My mind wanders over to the current situation over at Sayori's house. Would she even talk to Mom? I guess it is a weird situation to be in. Sayori hasn't seen my mom in a while. They always got along really well. Plus, well, with Sayori's own parents being away, she might appreciate having a mother figure to talk to. So in the worst case scenario, I suppose Sayori would just politely ask Mom to go away. The sound... Uh-oh. The sound of a long blaring siren jolts me out of my thoughts. I hear Mom opening the front door and making her way up to my room. Oh no. I open my mouth to ask her how it went, but straight away, I can tell that something is horribly, horribly wrong. There are tears in her eyes, and she's looking distraught. Mom? She looks at me, but can't even formulate any words. Her lips tremble, and fresh tears cascade down her cheeks. A terrible feeling of dread is quickly rising. Mom? You're scaring me. What's wrong? What's wrong? It's Sayori, isn't it? My heart starts beating incredibly fast. Wordlessly, she nods.
She...
Oh God. Please don't say what I think you're about to say. She's shaking and takes deep breaths to calm herself down.
I don't know how to say this.
Just say it. I desperately look into her eyes, trying to find an ounce of reassurance. I find none.
Sayori is gone, Flam.
Gone? Gone where? I know exactly what she means, but I refuse to believe it. Mom doesn't reply. I don't believe you. I move towards the door with ferocious speed. I have to see this for myself.
She hung herself.
And with that, I stopped dead in my tracks. No, she didn't. You're lying.
I'm not. I wish I could say that I was.
No. Sayori wouldn't do this. She wouldn't. But even as I protest, Sayori's words are swirling around in my head, coming back to haunt me.
This is how it's always going to be. You were my last hope. It's a little too late for that.
The more I try to protest, the more her final words burrow themselves into my mind. Get out of my head. Dimly, I'm aware of Mom talking something about how the ambulance are there, but her voice feels like millions of miles away. I desperately search Mom's face once again, this time trying to find something, anything that indicates that this isn't happening. All I find is a grim confirmation. The sound of sirens is much louder now. Flashes of blue are visible through the window. There's absolutely no way this can be real. It can't be happening. Ignoring Mom's protests, I push past her and head for the street. Ambulances, grim-faced paramedics. All I can do is stand there, numb to the wetness and coldness of the unrelenting rain. Each drop feels like a cruel reminder of what I'm witnessing is very, very real. No. There's no way. There's no way. Or could this really be happening? Slowly I can feel the disbelief start to ebb away. I can't stand watching this any longer. Turning to run, my legs start moving of their own accord. Where I'm going, I have no idea. All I know is I have to get away from here. Away from the condemning sight of the ambulance and the cruel sounds of the sirens. Jesus. A while has passed since my mom discovered Sayori's corpse. Days, weeks, months, years, can't even say. Each day has effortlessly melted into the next. The world around me continues onwards, but not me. It's not like I care either. Everything I've been doing feels so mechanical, as if my body were on autopilot. I keep expecting to receive a text from Sayori or to hear her voice. Initially, I clung to the belief that she wasn't dead, that somehow, for some sick reason, my mom was playing some sort of cruel practical joke. Even though I knew full well that she wouldn't do that. There's only so much I could run from the truth. The brutal, pathetic truth that cared little for anyone who was ever lucky enough to know Sayori. It was only after I went to her funeral that I started to realize that I would never see her ever again. That's deep. There wouldn't be any cuddling on the sofa. There wouldn't be any walking to school together. I'd never again read one of her poems or hear about how her day was. The warmth I'd feel when she was in my arms, gone. And the reality is painful beyond all comprehension. Whenever I close my eyes, I can picture her in my head. That sky blue shirt she wore on the day we first shared a kiss. And sometimes when I really feel like torturing myself, I recall how her voice sounds as well. People come up to me at the funeral. They told me how sorry they were and gave me their condolences. Their words meant nothing to me. I was willing to bet that all of them had no idea what demon Sayori was struggling with. I didn't even try to stop my tears. All I could do was rest my head on the gravestone that Sayori lied under, a real part of me wishing that I could join her under the dirt. Because at least that would stop the unrelenting numbness and pain. There's no running from it. Sleep is impossible. Whenever I'm under the covers, no matter how warm, I feel so cold, longing for her embrace. Every time I pass a place we visited together, such as a shop or the park, I feel her. Wherever I look, a memory. I take a deep breath, slowly letting the air out through my nose. I'm sitting on my bed. In my hands lie the Christmas present Sayori got for me. The glass-framed photograph of us as kids. Harkening back to happier times, blissful memories that feel like they happened an eternity ago. With a trembling finger, I gently trace Sayori's face. It's a vain attempt, and I know it. I'm trying to tell myself that somehow, by doing this, I might be able to physically feel her again. Even though I know I'm being stupid, I still can't help but feel the only disappointment and anguish flood through my body, as the only feeling I get is my finger against glass. At least seeing the huge grin on her face brings a smile to my face. It's a tiny smile, and it feels like a tiny, pathetic flame in the midst of a raging thunderstorm, but at least it's there. I recall how Sayori's face lit up as I handed her the Christmas present I got for her. Happy thoughts. Was I one of your happy thoughts, Sayori? Or was I just part of the darkness that threatened to engulf the lights? A question I'll never have an answer to. All because I wasn't there for her. Waves of bitterness rise within me. Mom told me not to focus on the past. You can drive yourself insane by thinking about the choices you didn't make. But how can I not delve into the past? Sayori could still be here if I was just a little more attentive and less dense. I gripped the edges of the glass a little tighter, completely disregarding the pain in the palms of my hands. Why did you do it, Sayori? Why did you do this to me? To us? To everyone? I know things looked bleak, but you didn't have to give up like that. I know I fucked up. I know that. Believe me, I do. And a haunting sense of guilt and regret will be with me until I die, until the day I see you again. But I hardly knew what I was doing the whole time. And now everyone has to live with your decision for the rest of their lives. You wanted everyone to be happy, didn't you? Well, look at us now. Is this what you wanted? I look down at the photograph, shocked to see that the edges are stained red. Suddenly I'm aware of a distant pain in my hands. Without realizing, I pushed the corners into my palm of my hand so hard they drawn blood. A few teardrops have also landed on the photograph. Through a cruel twist of fate, unless they landed where Sayori's face is, giving the impression that she's also crying. Man. Instead of cleaning the photograph, I just put it down next to me, running my hands through my face, caring little for the stinging coming from the wounds in my hands. I miss you. I miss you so much. What I want to give to be able to hold you in my arms again. Tell you how sorry I was. To tell you how things could and would get better. The doorbell rings, but I ignore it. Oh, for fuck's sake. You think they'd get the hint. The doorbell rings again, and I angrily swing my legs out of bed. This had better be worth it. As I swing the door open, the worried faces of Yuri, Natsuki, and Monica fill my vision. They all look alarmed when they see me, most likely due to the blood smeared over my face. I'm in no mood to talk, so I just stand there, waiting for one of them to say something.
Are you alright, Flam?
She motions towards my face. I'm fine.
But your face.
I raise my hands briefly. The concern on the girl's face doesn't abate. It's just a little cut.
You should get that looked at. I could help you with that if...
What do you want?
We're worried about you. You barely said a word at the funeral, so...
Was I expected to say a lot? She's taken aback by my surly tone.
No. Of course not. We miss her too, you know. Very much so.
Monica nods sadly.
She was the first member to join the club. God, it feels like such a long time ago. She really brought so much happiness to the...
Stop it. I don't want to hear it.
Come on, Flam. She wouldn't want to see you like this.
What the fuck would you know about what Sayori would want? All you ever did was make fun of her.
I know you're upset, Flam, but please be reasonable. What you said was a little uncalled for. Natsuki didn't mean any harm. We know that she was depressed.
That comment catches me by surprise.
Well, I heavily suspected it, at least.
What? What are you talking about?
People don't just commit suicide without a pre-existing mental health condition. When I look back on it, I suppose I should have seen it.
What? And none of you thought to try to help her with it? The girls all look at each other, a little uncomfortable.
Well, we kind of thought...
What?
Well, she was your girlfriend, so...
Why does everyone think that her depression was my fucking responsibility or something? Because as soon as you agreed to date her, it did become your responsibility, idiot. I do my best to ignore my conscience once again trying to torment me.
No one is saying that it was solely your responsibility, Flam. We just didn't think it was our place to say anything, given how personal and serious the matter was.
You could have at least tried to be there a little bit more for her.
You know,
like, I don't know, reminder of how much she meant to you, or how much you valued having her around. Yuri shrinks back against my ferocity of my ferocity of my voice. In a twisted sense, seeing the hurt on her face makes me feel a tiny bit better. That is twisted. It's funny, because she was really jealous of you, you know that? She never liked the time I would spend around you. And all you had to fucking do was talk to her, help her see that she had nothing to worry about. I remember Sayori mentioned how she suspected Yuri also liked me. The thought of that contributing to how worthless she felt makes me see red. Thanks for fucking up our relationship, Yuri. Look where it got us. All because you clung to the one person of the opposite sex who ever gave you more than a second of their time.
Flam! You can't use this as an excuse to be such an asshole, alright? Blaming us isn't going to get you anywhere. Please, just let that anger go.
Oh, don't you start as well, Miss Perfect. I don't need you of all people to tell me how to act when my best friend has just died. You know what? All of you can just fuck off. I don't want to see any of you ever again. Joining the literature club was the biggest mistake of my life. The girls just stand there. There's a variety of different emotions on their faces.
Flam, just...
Go. With one final look of sympathy and some anger, the girls take their cue to leave. Natsuki and Monica are trying to console Yuri, who by this point is sobbing. I'm left standing in the doorway, feeling the fresh blood trickle down my hands, clenching them into fists and not help. As tears leak down my face and blood drops down my wrists, I look up to the sky. Bleak, desolate, the sound of rain, echo, 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 inside my head. Okay, so that was that. Damn. I don't know what to say with that one. Still not as bad as the ending to Exit Music, but still bad enough. Well, on Monday I'll be starting the Yuri route, so look forward to that. And if you enjoyed, leave a like on the video, hit subscribe if you don't want to miss any more, and link in the description to the full playlist below if you want to catch up. So I'll talk to you guys in the next one. You have a good day.